Welcome to WrenchWay Weekly, the show where we talk about the industry's hot topics, highlight the voice of technicians, and use that information to help educate shops and dealerships all over the country to help improve the industry. If you haven't had the chance yet, please go to YouTube, subscribe to our WrenchWay channel to get all the latest and greatest WrenchWay Weekly videos, some of our podcast stuff that we do. We've got a variety of different content that we put out there. Like the videos, comment on them. Anything you can do to help us understand what you want to see more of is greatly appreciated. The topic for this week was one really focused around diagnostic process and what people are doing to ensure that they have a good diagnostic plan when they go in to try and fix something, right? And so the question is, do you have an established step-by-step diagnostic process that you use? The feedback was pretty one-sided. 79% said yes, while 21% said no. And it really was some interesting commentary and some comments that came through the Insiders app. A couple of them said, keep it simple, stupid, right? That's one thing that I think foundationally from the education side, that's what you hear quite often. And it's really, really true. The more basic you can keep it, the easier it's going to be to attack that problem. And I think people like me that struggled with diagnostics really had a tough time with that part, right? And not overthinking something and not really trying to really truly understand the systems, because I think at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. If you don't understand those systems and how they work, it's going to be really, really hard to diagnose it. That's something as a young technician I did not do a good job of. And hopefully these young technicians coming up, those of you watching the show, learn those basics. That is an absolute necessity when it comes to diagnostics. So KISS was the acronym probably most used in our comments. There were others on the other side of that too, right? Where they talked about not having a process because everything is different. The one comment that I really enjoyed out of this was, that's just ridiculous. Maybe at the beginning I have certain things like pulling codes and such, but I would liken it to playing chess. You may have an opening idea, but how the opponent responds dictates your next steps. Totally agree with this comment. I think that's the one thing that, again, it's hard not to overcomplicate that, because if you change one thing and the issue changes, or maybe the voltage reading changes, or something else happens, I think it goes back to the foundational steps of understanding what's actually going on and what you're trying to fix. So the funny part about this is I feel a little uncomfortable giving any type of advice here because I was not good at this piece. So that's really taking the comments that I saw from our WrenchWay Insiders, and obviously it was fun to really kind of dive into that. We did a question about, do you know how to use an oscilloscope? And to me, I had no idea how many techs would actually answer yes to this. The majority actually answered yes. And that's comforting to me, because I think that's something where even as a young technician, you can get a little bit overwhelmed by, oh my goodness, what am I using this scope for? And what am I trying to read? Again, back to the core of, you've got to know how things work in order to even use a scope. So trying to keep things simple. I think when I talk to shops, the advice I would give here is, this is where that training counts, right? And the training after they come to you from tech school. It's really easy to say, hey, they spent 2 years at a tech school, they should know all this stuff, get them to work. But until they get that training, it's going to be really, really difficult for them to catch on, for the most part. Now, there are some anomalies that will just be able to diagnose and figure out things on their own. I think that's the exception to the rule, not the rule, right? And so to me, I know I was listening to somebody the other day talking about how we're better at eating our own youth than any other industry out there. And what he meant by that was that we really kind of don't give them a chance to flourish. And when I look at my own experience, that was one of the things that I really noticed, is when I came out of school as a tech, I didn't truly understand how systems worked. I didn't truly understand how to read a schematic. I didn't truly understand, some of the other really probably simple things that you need in electrical diagnostics. Now, I did get lucky in that I went to go work for a manufacturer, got put through a ton of training, And it was weird how something just clicked, how one instructor happened to say something a certain way, and then it just clicked with me. So it made it a lot easier to look at a problem, diagnose it, really understand how important it was for that initial write-up, where when that initial person, whether it's service writer, service manager, whoever takes that phone call from the customer, it's so important that they have an idea or give you a good picture of what's actually wrong. Without that, you're starting without a firm understanding, and it's really hard to even verify the problem, right? So to me, again, this is something that makes me a little uncomfortable just because I was not a good technician. I was lucky enough to sit through some classes where it did feel like a lot more of it clicked. I took it more serious, quite frankly. But all on that base foundation of the KISS principle. Keep it simple, right? And for you shop owners and managers out there, I cannot tell you enough how important that initial training is, especially for a young tech, but really even for a veteran tech, to keep that knowledge going. These systems are not slowing down. And the less you keep up with them right now, the harder it's going to be with keeping up with any type of new technology, because a lot of it's building on each other. The systems are getting far more advanced. It can be a real challenge. So kudos to Brandon Steckler on the article in Motor Age. If you haven't had a chance yet, go check it out. He did a phenomenal job. I don't know Brandon personally, but I'm a really big fan of his work, and he did an outstanding job with that. Thank you to all of our WrenchWay Insiders, as always, for providing feedback on this topic. The diagnostic thing always kind of gets people going. As a reminder, if you answer the topic of the week on the WrenchWay Insiders mobile app, you get a chance at playing our higher or lower game, and you can compete to win our weekly prize giveaway. So last week's giveaway was a $100 Amazon gift card, and the winner of that gift card is David Sharshakov with a high score of 38. David Sharshakov, sorry for destroying your last name there, but you won the $100 Amazon gift card with a high score of 38. Along with the gift card, David also got a chance at winning the Queen of Hearts pot. Unfortunately, Jeff did not turn over the Queen of Hearts, so the pot has increased to $1,500. It just keeps increasing by $100 every week, which is pretty cool, and gives you guys all a chance to get on there, win that high or lower game, and have a shot at winning the Queen of Hearts. We post new challenges out every week. There's always opportunities for you to gain more points and really use those points to be able to play that high or low game. It's a lot of fun. It can be challenging, but it's meant to have a good time with. So hopefully you get out there and play that. The weekly winner of that game gets that $100 gift card. So similar to David, you'll get a shot at that, and then a shot at the Queen of Hearts, which is a big pot of cash, which is always fun. As a reminder, WrenchWay Insiders app is invite only. If you would like an invite, you can fill out the form on the WrenchWay website, or you can email us at info@wrenchway.com. Our topic for next week is one that I really, it makes me kind of nervous to ask, but also just want to get a true pulse of industry, which is, do you feel like your shop is honest when quoting repairs? Simple yes or no answer are the options for that question. And I don't think I think, again, if we asked this question a couple decades ago, I think we're going to get a different response than we will now. And we're not trying to throw anybody under the bus, right? We're just trying to get a pulse for how do we feel as employees of a shop and how they're treating their customers, because really it's a direct reflection of you in the shop, right? So maybe you're wanting to give some feedback on a time where it wasn't as clean or didn't feel right? And there's some other shops that are amazing and gain a customer's trust, do it the right way, and I'd like to think that that's the majority of shops now, right? That's the overwhelming majority. Maybe the rougher around the edges ones that aren't being completely honest in that process are starting to get thinner and thinner, and I think that's a good thing. As always, we'd love to get your feedback on this topic. Hop on your WrenchWay Insiders app and find the poll titled WrenchWay Weekly Topic of the Week. It's really easy to find. Get on there, give us the feedback. We'll talk about it in next week's WrenchWay Weekly. And once again, if you like what we're doing here, be sure to subscribe to WrenchWay on YouTube. You'll get the latest updates with everything and be able to help us create content to really help educate the industry. Thanks again for another great week to our WrenchWay Insiders. You guys are amazing. I hope you all have a Merry Christmas. Take care.